Welcome, ladies. If you're watching this video, you're likely at a crossroads in your relationship. One that feels heavy, confusing, and maybe even a little scary. Breaking up is never easy, but in America today, it's more common than you might think. Let's start with some eye-opening statistics to set the stage. According to the Pew Research Center, in 2023 alone, over 1.8 million Americans divorced, and about a third of all people who've ever been married have gone through it. The refined divorce rate has been declining since the 1980s, sitting at around 14.4 divorces per 1,000 married women in 2023. But for first marriages, the odds of splitting are still between 40% and 50%, per data from the CDC and the American Psychological Association. What's even more telling? Studies show that women initiate about 70% of divorces in heterosexual marriages. Why? Often because we're the ones carrying the emotional load, spotting the red flags first, and deciding enough is enough. In a fast-paced American culture where independence is celebrated, from bustling cities like New York to suburban life in California, women are increasingly prioritizing their well-being over staying in unfulfilling partnerships. In this video, you'll find answers to the tough questions that keep you up at night. How do you know when it's truly time to walk away? What steps should you take to prepare emotionally and practically, especially in the US, where things like shared finances, kids, or even no-fault divorce laws come into play? How do you actually have the talk without it turning into a disaster? And most importantly, how do you heal and move forward stronger than before? We'll dive into advice from seasoned psychologists and therapists like Dr. John Gottman, whose decades of research on relationships reveal the 4 horsemen of doom: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling that signal a breakup might be inevitable. We'll also hear from experts like Mira Kirschenbaum, author of Too Good to Leave, Too Bad to Stay, who helps women weigh the pros and cons. Plus, I'll share real stories from American women who've been there, done that, and come out thriving. Buckle up. This is going to be raw, real, and empowering. Remember, as the saying goes, sometimes good things fall apart, so better things can fall together. You're not alone, and by the end, you'll feel ready to take that step. Let's kick things off with recognizing when it's time. In America, where we're bombarded with rom-com ideals, but face real-world pressures like dual-career households and high living costs, relationships can sour fast. Dr. Gottman, a renowned psychologist who studied over 3,000 couples, says if your partnership is riddled with those 4 horsemen, it's a red flag. Criticism turns into personal attacks. You're always late because you're selfish. Contempt shows up as eye-rolling or sarcasm. Defensiveness blocks communication. And stonewalling is when one partner shuts down entirely. If these are daily occurrences, it's not just a rough patch, it's a pattern. Therapist Ann Davin, a mental health expert featured in relationship podcasts, emphasizes that women often stay too long out of fear of loneliness, financial instability, or starting over in a dating scene that's tough post-30. But ask yourself, does this relationship make you feel seen, respected, and excited about the future? If the answer is no more often than yes, it might be time. Take Sarah from Chicago, a real story shared on BuzzFeed's community forum. She was married for 8 years to her high school sweetheart. They met in college, built a life in the Midwest with a house, 2 dogs, and stable jobs in tech. But over time, the emotional intimacy faded. He stopped asking about her day, dismissed her career ambitions as hobbies, and their sex life dwindled to once a month. Sarah initiated therapy, but he showed up once and bailed. The last straw? During a family vacation in Florida, he spent the whole time on his phone, ignoring her pleas for connection. I realized I was lonelier with him than I would be alone, she shared. Sarah filed for divorce under Illinois' no-fault laws, which allows splits without proving wrongdoing, common in most US states since the 1970s. Today, at 35, she's traveling solo, advancing in her career, and dating with intention. Her advice: don't wait for a dramatic betrayal. Sometimes the quiet death of love is reason enough. Psychologist Mira Kirschenbaum echoes this in her work. Use the two-chair technique to decide. Sit in one chair as your current self, voicing fears about staying. Switch to the other as your future self, imagining life post-breakup. If the freedom outweighs the pain, that's your sign. And ladies, in America, where women out-earn men in many households, per census data, 30% of wives earn more than husbands. You have leverage, but preparation is key, emotionally and logistically. Step 1. Emotional prep. Before dropping the bomb, build your support system. Talk to a therapist. Apps like BetterHelp make it easy and affordable, with sessions starting at $60 a week. Dr. Terry Real, a family therapist and author of Us, Getting Past You and Me to Build a More Loving Relationship, advises women to own your part without self-blame. Reflect. What patterns did you contribute? Maybe you avoided conflict to keep peace, a common trap for women socialized to be nice. But as Oprah once said, you teach people how to treat you. Use journaling to process. Voice notes on your phone work too, as one woman on Reddit shared. I ranted to myself daily. Hearing my own voice helped me see I deserved better. Real story. Kelsey from Texas, 28, shared on Refinery 29 how she knew it was over after 7 years. Her husband propositioned her best friend while she was away on a work trip to Austin. I felt betrayed, but looking back, the signs were there. Constant criticism, no empathy. She used therapy to rebuild confidence, then left. Now remarried, she says, leaving was scary, but staying would have killed my spirit. Motivational nudge. You're stronger than you think. As Maya Angelou put it, I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. Practically, especially in the US, protect yourself. If married, consult a lawyer. Divorce costs average $7,000 to $15,000 per Forbes, but community property states like California split assets 50-50. If kids are involved, prioritize custody plans. Women often get primary custody, but co-parenting apps like Our Family Wizard help. For unmarried couples, untangle finances, close joint accounts, update leases. One BuzzFeed story. A woman in New York discovered her boyfriend of 4 years had been cheating via a tagged Instagram photo. She moved out overnight, using friends' couches until securing her own apartment in Brooklyn. It was chaotic, but freeing, she said. Now the breakup itself. Do it in person, kindly, but firmly. Gottman Institute advice. Be honest without brutality. Say, I've realized our paths are diverging, and I need to prioritize my happiness. Avoid blame. Not you're a jerk, but this isn't working for me anymore. Therapist Esther Perel, though not directly quoted here, her TED Talks inspire, notes women often feel guilt, but remember, you're not responsible for his emotions. If safety's an issue, domestic violence affects 1 in 4 women per CDC, have a plan, like staying with family or calling the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-7-997-233. Real anecdote from XO Nicole. Andrea from California moved states for her boyfriend, only for him to dump her soon after. I felt worthless, but reclaiming my space healed me. She bounced back by focusing on career and hobbies. Another from She Knows. A woman broke up because her ex had no life plans. I was done improving myself while he stagnated. Post-breakup. The first week sucks. Hormones like oxytocin crash, mimicking withdrawal. But as Annie Hamilton tweeted on X, post 1 week, a big lift comes, cry alone a lot. No contact for 30 days, per experts like Mel Robbins. Block, delete, heal. Avoid rebound sex. Focus on self-care. Gym, therapy, girls' nights. American women thrive in communities like book clubs or apps like Bumble BFF. Motivational interlude. The wound is the place where the light enters you, Rumi said. You're not broken, you're breaking free. Real success story from Divorce Busting Forum. A woman left after 20 years, kids grown. I rediscovered myself, traveled to Europe, started a business in Seattle. Now happier at 50. Healing strategies from psychologists, fight scarcity mindset, plenty of fish in America's diverse dating pool. Write redemptive narratives. This ended so I could grow. Rediscover hobbies. One Reddit user post-breakup learned Spanish, moved to Miami. If gray divorce, over 50, is your story, rates tripled since 1990 per Purdue experts. Know it's rising because women refuse to settle. Final thoughts. Breaking up isn't failure, it's evolution. In America, where second acts are celebrated, think J-Lo post multiple splits, you're poised for greatness. Real story wrap-up. From BuzzFeed, a woman divorced after 25 years for her husband's affair. I rebuilt, found love again. You will too. As the proverb goes, better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Light yours today. If this resonated, like, subscribe, share your story below. You got this, Queen.